I don't.
Do your father know you think this way?
Of course he knows I think that way.
He does know this?
Of course he knows.
And is he disappointed?
Of course. I mean, he wants to extend his legacy, but he has two other kids.
So does he regret sending you to school because the school messed you up like this?
No, school did not mess me up.
Who messed you up like this?
First of all, I don't think I messed up.
Jessie Lee Peterson torches this independent woman for being a disappointment to her own father, as this boss girl living in delusion wants a man who will marry her with no kids and no rules, as she aims to find a man who will make her a power couple, and Jessie Lee Peterson isn't buying it. Let's get in.
One thing I noticed about, and I liked about your TED Talk about this subject, is that you were not blaming it on white people, whereas many black people tend to call it racism, and they're complaining that white people are doing this to them, coming in, buying up property, and raising the rent. As a matter of fact, I asked my producer to define that for me, and that's what he said. And he's a white guy. There he is over there, way in the back.
Well, the Wikipedia definition, but if you look at the Webster definition, there is no culture attached to the process of gentrification.
I like that. You're the first black person I heard define it in that way, because I said, what is gentrification? It's when white people move into the black community, they buy up the property, they raise the rent.
That's not necessarily true. Gentrification is a process of renewal and rebuilding. And if you look at some of the urban dictionaries or the recent dictionary, it's defined as the process of moving black people out. But the only way that black people can move out is if they sell to somebody that's not black. What ends up happening in black communities is that we don't value our property nor our family legacy. So we look to leave the community. We look to sell to the highest bidder versus being cognizant about who our buyer is or who we're selling to. I'm not saying don't sell, but if you sell, think about selling to somebody black.
Are you attacked for not blaming it on racism, this gentrification thing? Or are you attacked for just saying it's the lack of knowing how to do business?
I haven't been attacked. And maybe that's just because of people who know me know that I speak from the legacy of a real estate development family, and I understand the process of real estate development and how politics intertwine with the changing of our landscapes. However, as I said in my TEDx talk, that even though we are builders and we build for black people and in black communities, that doesn't mean that we haven't met with opposition from our own people. So part of my challenge in building in my community with my people is that they still have this relationship with the development community. So we're not looking to displace anyone. We're looking to provide home ownership opportunities.
And you were fortunate in that your father was in business. He's a smart man, and he was always in business. So it seemed as though you picked that up from him, whereas a lot of blacks don't have that.
I picked it up from him by osmosis.
Right, I remember you saying that,
because I often tell people my father sent me to UCLA to find a husband. You know, so by the time I got in grad school, he didn't necessarily raise me and my sister to be in the business, like you see with, for instance, with Trump, and how he consciously raised his daughter and his sons to understand the real estate development industry. And it wasn't until I was in a PhD program in industrial organizational psychology, and someone gave me Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I read that and understood the concept of wealth and intergenerational wealth and asset accumulation. And then I quit grad school and I got the master's, and I wasn't crazy.
Right.
And I started working with my father. So he wasn't cognizant, but I just blamed that on, not even necessarily blame that, he's just as a product of his parents, right? You want to raise your daughters to be these domestic goddesses when he didn't realize that he gave birth to two entrepreneurs.
Are you married?
Nope.
Have you ever been married?
I have not.
Do you want to be married?
I used to.
Do you want to now?
I want to be in a long-term relationship.
Does that include marriage?
That doesn't necessarily include marriage.
So you want to be with a man but not married to him?
It depends on his concept of marriage. I'm a rarity, and I realize that I'm a rarity in terms of coming from a two-parent household and understanding and seeing the value. So I look for implants from some country town where they know the value of families.
Would you change your title?
If I got married, I would become the wife.
Right, and would you stay home?
No.
You would not stay home?
No.
You would let your kids suffer?
I wouldn't have any kids. I don't have any kids.
Would you have kids if you got married?
No.
You would not?
No.
Well, there's no need to get married then.
I feel like this is something so many feminists absolutely take for granted. Like this woman just mentioned, she knows how rare she is. You know, she came from a two-parent household. She understands the value of families and all this. You know, she sells all this, but the only part of a family that she's willing to accept is the title. She's not willing to accept the duty. she talks about, she comes from this background, she has that to offer, but then she doesn't offer that to her husband because she doesn't want to have kids. So she claims that all of this is of value to a man, but she's not even going to pass on what was passed on to her onto his children because she doesn't want to have kids. And like, feminists don't get, from a man's perspective, the difference in marriage. Like, to them, it's just an agreement that basically boosts them up, allows them more opportunities, but they're not going to take any responsibilities, with the actual title. They'll just take the title in name. But on the other hand, a guy, if you do this to a woman and she doesn't want to stay at home, be domesticated, she still wants to go out and do absolutely everything that she wants while not having kids, but she claims to have some sort of value that she's not even willing to give to you to pass on, why would you then get married to that? You could just date that woman forever, but getting into a legally binding agreement serves no purpose to that guy. And I don't know if women like this, boss girl, they don't get it. They don't understand it. They don't care. I don't know what it is, but this is the disconnect that these women are all having in trying to find a guy who's going to tolerate this arrangement at the same time, but they're not willing to offer back anything in return in the actual agreement. She's only taking it in title. But hit that like button if you think this woman is absolutely delusional, and let's get back in.
You asked me the question. I told you I didn't want to get married at the beginning.
You don't want kids?
I'm not right now, no.
Is someone dated? Have you ever dated?
Don't I look like I've dated? Yes, I'm not a nun.
I'm sorry?
I'm not a nun. Of course I've dated.
And so are you a difficult person
No,
to
I'm
date?
not a difficult person. No, I don't think I'm difficult at all.
You're not a
I think I bring a lot of value to the table.
With the men who have dated you, think that you're difficult?
No, I think some of the men who date independent, successful.
Oh, that word.
Wait.
There's that word.
Wait a second.
Whenever a woman say independent, that means she's difficult.
I'm not difficult. You didn't let me finish the question.
Go ahead.
And so you already have a perception of what it means to be
When a woman says I'm
independent.
independent and strong
Trust me,
is
I
another
am
word.
looking for the Clyde to my Bonnie. I believe in the power couple. That's all I've seen my entire life. But it depends on how he sees my role as a wife. If he sees me as a domestic goddess, then yeah, we're going to have a problem, because that's not who I am. When you met me at the age that I am, I wasn't that. So if he has kids, great. I don't mind being the stepmom, but I'm not looking to, give birth now. I mean,
That's
that doesn't mean that
amazing.
I don't.
Do your father know you think this way?
Of course he knows I think that
He
way.
does know this?
Of course he knows.
And is he disappointed?
Of course. I mean, he wants to extend his legacy, but he has two
so
other
does
kids.
he regret sending you to school because the school messed you up like this?
No, school did not mess me up.
Who messed you up like this?
First of all, I don't think I messed up.
Jesse Lee Peterson is absolutely right about one thing in particular, in that schools are absolutely messing up young women. They are pushing them to be this boss girl, independent, whatever crap. And this is how they're ending up. All these women are going to want to be a power couple. All of these women are going to want the 1%, and all of them are going to be disappointed. Now, if you caught one or missed one thing that she said that actually does make sense when she was talking about her man. I was like this when you met me, is what she said. All right. So it makes sense. It's logical. Okay, you met me at this state. She's not going back. She's not going back. She spent her whole life all around this. This is what she knows. It's no surprise that she doesn't necessarily want to give all that up. But in there lies the problem. You're setting women up for this path to come down this road and be in this position later on in life, and they're not going to give it up. Why? Because they've either built this or done that, whatever it is. But either way, it's unattractive to a man, and they are not wanting to fill that wife role. They will only accept it in title. So it makes sense how this all happens. It's logical, even from her perspective of why she doesn't want to change, but it's also logical that this is the problem that Jesse Lee Peterson is talking about. In colleges, everyone is pushing women to be independent, go your own separate way, don't need no man, but then all of them are going to end up like this, all believing that they're going to have the 1% dream, and then finally when they hit the wall and they can't figure out why no man is there, they're left looking in the rearview mirror like, what did I do with my life? Or they're just going to lie to themselves forever. But folks, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought about what Jesse Lee Peterson had to say, torching this independent woman in this clip. Thanks again, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.